America, oh yeah, them niggas gonna be wobbling, pants hanging half down, bored as hell, half to sleep because they high as hell.
Hypocrite. Everyone, this is Samisam P. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with something different. It's not going to be a reality TV situation, but more of wanting to give my opinion about Mr. Akon that has been talking a whole lot of, you know.
Yeah.
We a little different when it
Yeah,
comes to stage
yeah,
presence.
yeah, yeah,
Now in
yeah.
America, oh yeah, them niggas gonna be wobbling, pants hanging half down, bored as hell, half to sleep because they high as hell on
Right,
stage.
yeah.
But Africa, we wake up morning like look at these YouTube clips of all these kids from Uganda and how they be, you know what I'm saying? Like these kids are performers. Like so, for us, it comes natural.
One thing with Akon was that when he first came out, he came up really with that hip hop sound, and he was talking about he's locked up, they don't want to let him out. He was talking heavily about how he's been in jail, way of speaking, the way of dressing and everything, which his target audience was the African American community, especially African American community from urban area, from the hood, you know what I mean? And they really loved him and he made a lot of money out of that. But then things started to change for him and he decided to go a little bit more pop. He eventually signed Lady Gaga, etc., etc. The reason why I wasn't happy was that I felt like he profited out of the African American experience. He made a lot of money out of that. He was talking about he went to jail for certain things. He spent a long time in jail when technically he didn't go to jail for the things that he necessarily said he did. Like there were a lot of, like, I would say, of his part to make sure that he had that street credibility. He made a lot of money out of that. Now that the rise of Afrobeat and African, or like a la mode, like we like to say in French, he wants to act like, to bring up that comparison where he's talking about stage presence of like people from Africa, and he's comparing young children dancing in the street to like mumbling rapper. And I'm like, this is just so wrong. First of all, coming from him, who at the time was working really hard to have that street credibility, was celebrating African American culture, to now of like bringing that division and making those comparisons that don't even really make sense, in my opinion. How would you compare young children dancing in the street in Africa to like mumbling rapper? African Americans have a lot of talent. They have a whole lot of talent. I feel like not only the comparison was not fair, but if we're talking stage presence, I mean, I feel like African American in general don't even have anything to prove. Felt that he was basically bringing division among black people, which is never a good thing. Now that being African is the thing, you want to talk about how it is. And don't get me wrong, do I think he's genuine for his love of Africa? I do. I think I'm not questioning that. What I'm questioning is, why do you have to put African American down? When I came to America, I actually graduated from an HBCU, Go Tigers, Texas Southern University. And I was around a lot of people from, African American to Nigerian, and I really got to learn a lot about the African American culture. I actually took very advanced history class of African American, and that gave me that understanding about what it is to be an African American person, the positive things that came out of it, and also some of the negative things that came out of it. And I feel like in the media, us other black people, we've had a lot of advantage when we come to the United States. Kind of like a lot of us Africans or black people from the diaspora, not necessarily like of African descent, but like other black people that are not African American. Sometimes I feel like we're being too hard on African American. I feel like there's a lot of like misunderstanding of who they are, and really misunderstanding about the pain that they've gone through for centuries, really. Some of us, we have certain type of advantages. We kind of like, whenever you get to a certain level, you want to put somebody down. Khan was enjoying, African American culture. We knew he was of immigrant Senegalese parents, but whenever he became famous about Locked Up, he wasn't talking about the life of a typical young Senegalese man. He was talking about the life of a lot of young African American men living in more urban, and I would say sometimes even poorer area of the United States. So yeah, coming out from him, that make me sad. Wish he could stop. I just wish he could stop talking. He's been saying a lot of other things that I thought were incredibly ignorant. African American culture really had a big impact on African in the other diaspora. I remember going to the US as a young woman living in France, living a certain way, being a certain way, being highly influenced with, African American music. I remember burning my mom's kitchen because of Cisco song. Don't ask me why, y'all. I was literally cooking something and then I decided to come to my room because Tong Song came out in the radio and I started dancing and forgetting myself. And by the time I was done, the kitchen was on fire. This is how much I've been influenced by African American culture. View that actually started really well, like I really like the stuff that he talked about, especially when it comes to like in the music industry, different sound that come from Africa, that the Afrobeat that is now famous is just like one small mini teeny, type of music that we have in the continent and stuff like that. It started so well, but then he had to go ahead and mess it up. Let me all know what you think. I will see you all next week. Bye.